this camera will be laggy like the other one. Oh shoot, I'm starting. Alright y'all, we're back with another spooky Saturday and Sunday, so let's get back into it.
My name is Jude and I'm 27 years old. I've always loved going camping ever since I was a young boy.
No.
Some of my earliest memories were of me sitting around the fire with mom, dad, and grandfathers, singing songs and telling stories. Whenever we told stories, we always ended the night on a scary story, right before going to bed.
Why?
And my grandfather's stories were always the best.
No.
His descriptions gave me chills as he described vivid characters and monsters from his imagination.
Oh, heck
I've always loved to hear his stories.
No more.
But once, when I was 10 years old,
doing spooky Saturday
something happened that scares me to this day. One cool autumn day, my parents decided to take me camping with my grandfather, as we always did around that time of year.
Okay, true story. I tried to go camping once. And once I tried to go camping, I saw a spider outdoors and I immediately went back inside before we even got in the car. True story.
We arrived at the campsite around 6 o'clock. And on the way in, I saw that the campsite we were driving into was different than the one we usually camped at. The entrance to the campground seemed old, and a lichen-covered stone sign with the name of the grounds greeted us as we drove in. We arrived and set up our tents. After eating dinner and cleaning up, we sat around the campfire as usual to tell our stories.
No, hold on, go back.
We drove in. We arrived and set up our tents.
Hold up.
After eating dinner and cleaning up...
What is that? Are those carrots or hot dogs? What is that? Y'all cooking a pizza? The pizza got holes in it now. And what are those? Are those eggs or eyes? What are y'all eating?
We sat around the campfire as usual to tell our stories.
No.
I can't remember all of the stories told, except for the last.
What?
My grandfather's story.
Why you got that smile on his face?
I remember the smell of the burning wood and burnt orange sunlight casting long shadows off into the trees behind us as he began to tell his tale.
No.
He started by saying that it was a true story from his childhood.
Okay.
And he had waited to tell it to me until I was old enough.
Okay.
This grabbed my attention, as usually my grandfather told
fake
stories and never about himself. He said that he had been camping at the same campsite we were staying at when his story occurred. He started by saying the campground had been built back in the 1930s by CCC workers during the Great Depression.
Why?
Which, looking back, explained the oldness of the park. But at the time, as a kid, I really didn't care. He said that one night, around 1960-something, while camping with his father, he was fishing at the lake down at the end of the long hiking trail that led back to the campground.
Oh, there was a spider. I don't like it.
His dad told him it was time to leave, and they started off down the trail. As he was walking, he began to feel a strange sensation, as if he was being followed.
Okay.
He turned back, but supposedly saw nothing several times.
Pick up a stick or a wall.
He kept walking until he said he was stopped by a long, eerie moan rippling out from behind the trees. He described it as sounding like a ghost or a person being slowly injured.
That's dumb.
He and his dad stopped in their tracks.
I wouldn't.
His dad apparently tried to tell him it was a coyote.
A coyote does not make a noise. Well, it does, but not like that.
He told me it wasn't a coyote. He believed it was something else. Something more sinister. Nevertheless, after this encounter, he returned back to the campsite with his dad.
Why?
And never saw or heard anything else.
Why?
He claimed that this was true. And obviously, he wouldn't be telling this to us if he hadn't been affected by it. But to me, it seems silly. Scared by a noise? Come on. Anyway, about 2 days...
Affected by what? And if that happened to you, then why did you bring him with you? Something bad can
Later,
happen.
I was walking back to the site with my grandfather
What's
from
that?
a long day of hiking and picking wild berries in the
Oh,
nearby
shoot.
forest.
Y'all got babies for you?
Both of
already?
us were carrying heavy baskets full of berries to bring home.
Damn, I'm down.
The sun was setting, and I noticed the long shadows peering out from behind the trees.
One.
As it began to grow darker, dead darker, the trail seemed to
You
grow
better
longer
run
and
back to your
longer.
car or minivan or whatever
I
it
began
is.
to feel a weird sensation in my stomach,
Nope,
like I was being watched.
I don't like this.
After about 5 minutes, the feeling began to grow, and I looked at my grandfather. He looked right back at me with the same fearful eyes. I was in shock.
I don't like
Did
this.
he feel the same feeling? Then I remembered his story about the way he felt the night he heard the noise. I began to walk faster, and so did my grandfather, without saying a word. After about 20 minutes, it was completely dark, and our arms ached for carrying the berries up the trail.
Then eat some of them.
Right as I turned a corner, I heard a long, eerie moan. My heart stopped as I froze in fear. My grandfather looked at me and said, "It's time to go."
Yeah, I bet it
With
is.
that, we began wailing swiftly down the trail as fast as we could without dropping our berries. Just as I began to relax, I heard it again. Only this time, it was much louder. It sounded like someone being murdered. It was terrifying. It came from directly behind us, and I felt a burning sensation in the back.
I don't like this. Y'all may not have seen it because I dropped the camera, but I almost took off one. And let me put my camera over here. Flip.
Back of my head. I dared not look back.
You better not.
I sat in fear, wondering of what could have made the noise. When suddenly I heard my grandfather scream, "Run!" I whipped my head around, and in the dark, foggy light, I squinted and I saw a tall, slender black shadow dart between the trees.
Really? Y'all saw a Slender Man? Okay.
About 100 feet behind us on the trail. I instantly dropped my bucket and ran like the wind
dropped
down
the
the
bucket of
trail as
berries
fast
and
as
you
I
didn't even
could.
eat 'em?
My grandfather was behind me. I became worried about him, as he was an old man, and I was afraid he might hurt himself running down the rocky trail. But I didn't stop, nor did he until we reached the campsite. That night, I sat in my tent, heart racing,
Why?
thinking about
Why?
what could have made
Bruh.
that noise.
Who cares? Go
After
home.
we came back home, we never returned to the old campsite.
Good.
And to this day, that experience still haunts me.
What the? That's terrifying, but not as terrifying as the last one we saw. Alright, y'all. Oh yeah, a quick shout out to my okay, but I gotta lay out some information from y'all. For y'all. I created a group of YouTubers. We're slowly growing. I got my boys. I will react to their YouTube channels. I will react to one of them. I might react to the others if they make videos. I'm still waiting for Joseph to make a video. And also, I'm looking for an animator so he can animate my videos. I don't know who, if y'all know anyone who's a good animator. Actually, it doesn't really have to be good, as long as he animates my video or she animates my videos. I'm also looking for people to make me a song in a new background, because I just can't keep doing it. But till next time, support the new King of Assassins.